Hello and welcome to this lecture on our object dimensions node, code snippets or, well, code example. So let's go into our modules, miscellaneous and code snippets, and let's have a look at the code that we made before. So we started off with our first example, or proper example, creating a series of controllers. So imagining that we had a scene where we had a model group passed to us, which had a series of rocks in it that all needed controllers because they needed animation. They needed an animation layer before they went into Sim. Let's imagine that we've created our control group, which is called control group. Again, we could just do m.group and make a new group in that. And we can also just maybe manually select all of our rocks as well. But we're going to assume that essentially all of the rocks or anything within the group, model group, all of those children, we're going to want those back. And if you'll remember, if we click through to children, children passes us back with a DAG node of each of the child. Okay, so that allows us to automatically get back a DAG list. Okay, and now let's go through the iteration now, the iterator. So we're going through our for loop, and we're going to loop through every one of the rocks. We are going to also enumerate, so we're going to get an iteration of each step of the for loop. And we are then going to use that within the name. So we're just going to call all of our controls that we make, rock control, and then with the suffix control, we're going to also have the number that they are. So remembering that the counting in Python starts at 0, we want to make sure that we add 1 to that. So we start from 1. So we're going to add the string of num plus 1. So 0 plus 1. And then there'll be, obviously, in the 20th iteration, 20 plus 1. So it'll be 21. Perfect. And then we are adding our parent, we're adding our control to our control group. We're moving it to the position of the rock. We are creating an offset. And then we are setting the color to yellow. And then our control will then parent constrain the rock and scale constrain the rock. So that was what we have already made. But let's see how we can now improve this a little bit with our object dimensions. What we can do is we can go rock, go dot O. See, we've got the options there. We've got depth node, and it's saying O or A, node color, DAG. It's giving us all the options. We'll go O, and then dot, and it's giving us all of the options that we have. It's giving us a P. If you see with these, as these are properties. But what we are going to go with is the width property. Okay, and now, so essentially we're working with a radius. We're saying here for the rock. So we're saying that we're going to create a rock, create a control with the radius that is the width of the rock. So that'll be double the width of the rock. So we can pass that through as just that. That'll be double the size. We could also say times maybe 0.75. So it's not too much bigger than the rock. But, for the minute, that'll be fine. We just want a control which we know is going to be relative to the size of the geometry that we have within our scene. So again, it's automating everything we're doing. We're not going to get controls too big, too small. They're going to be essentially perfect for our scene. You could also set those just to be 1 unit bigger. You could literally go for any number of methodologies. But for the minute, we'll just use the width of the rock to dictate what we're doing. Okay, perfect. So now let's also copy that little bit of code there. Let's jump down here. And we're actually going to look to get the color of our control, because we're going to try and use a little bit of logic. We're going to say, okay, well, any item that is in the middle, well, any control in the middle of the scene is going to be yellow. Any on the right are going to be red, and any on the left are going to be blue. So how can we do that? Well, let's get the X, Y, and Z of the scene. Okay, so I put a space in, otherwise we're going to get shouted at by code conventions. And then we're going to go again, instead of width, we're going to go position. Could always spell that right, so it knows what it's looking for. And then because position is passing us, we jump to position within our DAG dimension node. What we are getting back is the position here, which is an X form of the translate and the rotate. All right, and that's being passed back. So we want to make sure that we only get those first 3 items. So we're going to count up to the 3rd space. So we just press 3. Okay, so that gives us 0, 1, and 2 in the list. And this is the 3rd spot. Okay, it gives us the first 3 items. And then we're going to use that to give a little bit of logic. So we're going to copy this yellow, and we're going to actually put color here. Then we're going to go yellow if x equals 0. If it's in the, so it means if the control is in the middle of the scene at x0, it means it's essentially saying, well, that is in the middle of the scene. So we're going to color the control yellow in that instance. Else we're going to go for red. And that is only if that x is essentially lower than 0. So if it's in the minuses, then it's going to be red. Else blue. And that is because blue is in the positive range of x. Okay. And excellent, we've already got kind of one control, which again, this could be used in multiple circumstances. This could be used within a bipedal rig to say, well, any controls on the left arm. Again, you wouldn't have to use a suffix then. Any controls that are on the left side, use these colors. And then you could also use other logic as well with what type of rig is this? Is this a spline rig? Is this an IK rig? Is this an FK rig? And you can use different coloring to, again, inform the animators of what type of rig setup they're using. But okay, cool. We'll leave that as is at the minute. So we're using a little bit of logic here to, again, automate some more practices within our rig. Yeah, and we'll kind of jump into the next series of lectures, which are going to be very interesting. Again, we're going to look into the mesh setup, which will give us another inherited class, or class that inherits our DAG node, to give us, again, further complex functionality and very simple Maya commands. But thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next lecture.